and welcome back to this House of Walls. I am excited today to start sharing with you how, as a secular homeschooling family, we make not secular curriculum work for us. So a lot of this today is going to be flipped around, and I'm going to show you how I make that happen. As always, get your favorite to-go drink at that time. It is the morning, so mine is a nice cup of coffee, and I am going to share with you what I am working on right now. Okay, so I had done in my chatty beginning homeschool planning video all about changes that we were going to make and things that worked and weren't working and things like that. If you're interested in watching that before this, the link will be above. So our main change is that we are going to try the good and the beautiful language arts. We have done some of their science before, and it's easy enough as a secular family to go through and make some changes. The language arts, I think, is a little more just because it's a bigger curriculum. But I do have the language arts level 2 and level 6. So my kids, they are going to be going into 2nd and 3rd grade. But I did look at what each of these levels requires. And I do think that where they are right now, and with the change of such a big curriculum, we are going to start with the level previous. And that's just where we're going to go. Some of the lessons I think will be a lot of kind of skip over. Some can get really religious from what I've seen. And so those we will just kind of go past and move beyond that. On that note, I am going to turn you around. Okay, so we are going to start with the level 6. So it comes with the course book, an answer key, geography and grammar cards, their level 6 reader, and then Little Lord Fauntleroy. I don't know how you say it, but it is the same author for The Secret Garden. So this is not going to be a very detailed flip through. If you are looking for that, there are many videos all over showing a very detailed flip through. This is going to be how we are going to make this curriculum work for our secular family. So in doing that, I will say we are not going to use this reader. Many of the stories in here are very religiously based, and that is just not what we want to include in our homeschool. We like to use religion as a form of history to see how religion has shaped history and civilizations. And we don't teach just Christian views, which this has. So we are not going to use this. We are going to use this book and the grammar cards. Of course, I will use the answer key. I have gone through the level 6 and level 2 books, the first 40 lessons, to just kind of see what needs to kind of change to make it fit for us. So I will say that for level 6, I have gotten rid of the religious aspects of it, but I have also edited out a lot of the writing that they do in here. I have kept some of it because I think that it's just good little practice writing for other techniques, but he is using IEW structure and style, and we'll continue to use that next year. So that is going to be our main writing curriculum. So let's get started on this. Okay, so again, this is not a huge detailed flip through. If you want to see more of how the program works, there's tons of videos like that. This is how we are going to make it work for us. So this starts with lesson 1. So you can see I have taped down a part of the text here that goes very religious and about God and his creation of butterflies. That doesn't apply to us. So I have just taped something over it. And then we continue on. And here you see we come to this. So this just means that instead of doing this, he will do the IEW structure and style instead of this writing prompt here. We keep going. There isn't a whole lot. I have gone through. There's another IEW. There's some places where I was able to just white out what religious aspect was written, and that worked. So here's another IEW. More. All right. This is where the reader starts to come into play here. So it is giving a little bit of background about the first story. And so instead of learning about the background of the first story, I am going to have him just read a poem. We have a bunch of fantastic poetry books, and so I just want him to read a poem. And here again is where that reader, he would be reading the first chapter in this reader. Again, we're not using it, so I just want him to read a poem. More IEW. I want him to do some poetry time again. More IEW. So you can see it didn't take very long for me to go through and do this. I did go through at first and I tabbed each page that had something that I needed to edit. And then I just went through again and made it work for us. So it definitely takes some planning, but luckily I was able to get the curriculum early enough that I was able to make the changes. I think, okay, so here is one where it talks about the artist John Glover. I did try to go through some of our art books and see if we had a different biography about him, and we don't have one. So I just I have a whiteout, and I whited out the parts that aren't relevant to our learning. So you can see I did that down here and up here. I did it, this is where he will be cutting and pasting and putting this into a correct timeline of the artist, John Glover. And so again, I just whited out parts that were not relevant to our learning. All right, so you can see that is how we did it for the 6th grade language arts for Good and the Beautiful. So we are going to use most of the elements of it and just make it work for us. So now let me show you the level 2 course book. Okay, so here is the course book. I do still have some tabs and you'll see why I still have those. I still need some adjusting to do. So it comes with the course book, comes with 2 little readers that are, I think they go more phonics based with little stories. Then it also has these reading booster cards. So these look really nice, and these are kind of the phonics thing of it. So you'll do the phonics, read the stories that go with the phonics, and it also has this nature reader that also goes with the phonics. You can see here I do have some tabs So this is because we will not do this story, our creator's world. The whole story is very religious. Then I think this just has a reference to God. So again, I will just go in and edit that. And this one references that Jesus Christ has blessed the owl with big power. That's not our family views, so I will edit that to make that fit our family views. So now to get into the actual level 2 course book. So here it starts with lesson 1, no changes. Lesson 2. I will say that the level 2 does not have as much religion, but we get into lesson 5, and it is supposed to be God's plan for the world, and I made it my plan for the world. So I just covered up the very religious aspects of it, and I want him to create his own floor plan over here, which I think he will enjoy doing. This one comes to, so this is where I still have a little tab, and this is just because I need to go and look at these videos and preview them first. So that's really what these tabs that are still in here are for, is that I want to go through and do the online portions that they offer, which is fantastic, but I just want to see how religious they get in the videos. This is a poem that they memorize all throughout the course book. It's extremely religious, and that's fantastic, but it doesn't work for our family. So we are going to pick a poem on our own that we are going to memorize. So like I said, this one did not have as much changing. I did leave holy. That's a good long O sound to work with, also with the open syllables. All right, then here's another one where they read these sentences just as a reading review, and so there was something, God is our creator, so I just whited that out. This is where that poem continues to be practiced, so we will continue to practice our poem that we choose. More poem practice. All right, so this again is, I just want to go on and look at this. They have a homeschooling app, and this deals with an art narration, which is fantastic. We love art narration, but I want to go in and see how they are wanting to do that, and how they are describing this picture, because it might not align with our beliefs. So that is there. This is another one where it was a religious sentence, so I just covered it up. This had, I don't know, it was a reference to lighthouses and God. So again, I just covered that up. All right, this lesson took the most editing that I have had to do. So lesson 26, it does go into a whole biblical story and writing a prayer to God. So these 2 pages are all of that. So I have just gone through and I taped these 2 pages together. And because this is short enough, I said to continue and complete lesson 27, because lesson 27 is pretty short as well. So we'll just make that one day of doing those 2 lessons. This is talking about our world is a blessing, and so I changed it to our world is awesome. So I do want to go through and see what this geography book is talking about. I have a feeling we will not use this geography book, but that's okay. We have a bunch of other geography books that we can pull in. This was a poem, well, yeah, where you are copying, and it said something about God. So again, I just worked it in, how we need it to. Again, I want to go through and see what this art narration is talking about. Here's that more poem practice, so we will continue practicing our poem that we choose again. And then we are at the lesson 40, which I like they have set up as a whole unit review. So this, there was a whole paragraph here that was very religious, and so I just covered that up. I am confident that we will be able to easily read this and not have any problems with leaving out that last paragraph. And then it goes into unit 2. All right. So that is how we are going to make a religious curriculum work for our secular family. Obviously, this is not for everybody, but that is also the beauty of homeschooling, is that we can make curriculum work for us and for our needs and our beliefs. And so I do think that this is a pretty awesome curriculum. I think that my kids are really going to enjoy it. They have, like I said in my previous video, they have asked for something just a little bit different this year. I will probably also be including something with a little bit more writing involved with my second, third grader. And just to get him writing a little bit more before then he starts IEW for 4th grade. So that is what I have going so far, and I will be sure to bring you along as I get more curriculum in and more just like the extras that we're going to be using and how we're going to be using them. As always, if you like this type of video, make sure to like and subscribe below, and I will definitely be back for more homeschooling and book content and everything else in between type videos soon.